Hello everyone, this is a very different video. If you saw from the title, this is a video about American politics, not history. I normally make videos about the histories of some random country from around the world, not a video about American politics. I know that less than half of my viewers live in the United States, and as some of them might be aware, the American election is coming up. So I thought it would be helpful for some people, or it just might be fun for some American viewers to learn the entire process of how the President of the United States of America is elected. Let's begin. First things first, I'm not going to show my bias at all in this video. I do have one, but I'm not going to show it in this video. Don't worry, I'm going to be as centrist as possible. In order to run in the U.S. election, which is every 4 years, you have to be born in the U.S. You have to be at least 35, and you have to have lived in the U.S. for at least 14 years. Then you have to pay a few million to enter the election, because elections don't come cheap. Then you have to join either the Democratic, Republican, Libertarian, or a different party, or be an independent. Then you have to set up a campaign, which is basically an office which manages all your political affairs. What is a political party? Well, the U.S. has over 50 parties. All of them are either on the left of the political compass. They like things like supporting abortion if that woman wants to. They support things like immigration. The other side doesn't like immigration or letting people have abortions if they want one. You are either left, centrist, big tent, which means you have ideologies from all over the political spectrum in your party, or you are on the right. Let's go over some of the major parties and some lesser parties we call the fringe parties. The main parties, the only ones that anyone expects to win anything, are the Democratic and Republican parties. Everyone knows that they hate each other and they like to murder each other. It causes a bloodbath every election. The next biggest party, which is so much smaller, though, is the Libertarian Party. I mean, there's only one Libertarian in the House of Representatives. The Libertarians have a weird ideology. It's hard to understand, but they are their own party. We also have other parties like the Communist Party. Yes, we have one. Canada has two. Anyways, back to the U.S. We also have the Constitution Party, the Tea Party, the Mormon Party, which is very, very small, and others. And now for the second step of becoming president. Then, the Democrats and Republican parties hold national conventions, as they are called, to select their nomination for their candidate who wants to become president. For example, Joe Biden is the Democrat candidate running for president in our next election, and Trump, our current incumbent or our current president, is the Republican nominee. Then they have to pick a vice president. Our Democrat candidate, named Joe Biden, picked Kamala Harris. It can often get a little antsy on who wants to be the vice president. The vice president is the second most important job. They don't have nearly as many powers, but they're still important. Donald Trump picked his old vice president from the last election, Mike Pence, to run with him. Step number 3. Then, each of the 50 states of the United States will hold rallies, elections, votes, polling stations, and caucuses for who they want to be president. The first state holding a caucus is kind of hard to explain. It's kind of like an election to get the idea of who will be president. Anyways, the first state to do so is Iowa on February 3rd. It's always a big deal. And the last state is Louisiana on July 15th. Then there's a month-long gap called the general election, where each of the 328 million Americans vote for who they want to be president. After a month or so, normally in October, ballots are counted. The way ballots work is kind of like putting an X on the name of the person you want to fill a position, in this case, the president. Whoever has the most votes at the end of this wins, mostly. For example, last election, even though Donald Trump won 46.1% of the U.S.'s votes, where Hillary had a little more than him at 48.2%, he still won. Why is this? The Electoral College. Let me explain. In the quickest way I can put it, the Electoral College decides who will win. The Electoral College is made up of a group of electors who are selected by their state's party to rule. For example, a Democrat from California would be selected, or a Republican from Maine could be selected, things like that. Then, after each of these electors who are appointed to the Electoral College vote for who they want for president, the results from this elect the president. So yeah, that kind of means that the public don't vote for president in the United States. Although it has a big impact, they don't directly do it. The Electoral College does. And then it arrives. And then we reach the fateful day every 4 years. Election Day, which is between November 2nd and November 8th. This year, it'll be on November 3rd. On the election day, the presidential winner will be announced on hundreds of news channels. Normally, there is a lot of outroar against the party who didn't win. Kind of like how a lot of Democrats were mad how Trump got elected last year, or a lot of Republicans were mad when Obama won, that sort of thing. And on the 12th day of January, no matter what day it is, the new president is sworn into office. Being sworn into office is kind of like taking a new job. After this, they take what is called the oath of office, where they promise that they will be a good president and will follow the Constitution as their principle for how they will run the United States. This president will serve for 4 years. Then that election will come up again. If they win this election, they get to serve their second and last term of 4 years. If they lose, they don't get elected, but they can be elected for their last term, even if it's like 20 years later. And with that, that is my video explaining how the American election works. I hope you found this fun. I hope you found it unbiased. I tried my best to stay unbiased. And I hope that I did a good job explaining it, because not all my viewers are American. We Americans seem to forget that sometimes. Thank you for watching. The next video will be the Marshall Islands. Thank you for watching.